Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be discussing tokens and pricing. We're going to be looking at how OpenAI uses tokens to calculate your API usage and how that is being priced. Now, you might have run out of tokens before. Some of you might have not heard of tokens before. But you see, the OpenAI mostly gives you, natural language models. These are models that can understand natural language and, they give you an output based on the natural language that you're feeding. Now, this output can be a reply like the chat and completions API, can be another reply in natural language. It can be to generate an image, which is what Daily does. It can be to, read and give you a transcript like what, Whisper does. So, everything is mostly centered around natural language. And the models don't see the natural languages as text. They break it down into tokens. They don't see it as words or phrases. They're breaking down to tokens. And one good way to understand tokens is to think of them as like 75% of a word. That's even what the official OpenAI, documentation states. So, a token is more like 75% of a word, but to understand it better, let's go to a simple tool that they've provided called the tokenizer, or token neither, that probably is provided that you can use to analyze your tokens. So, here we have the tokenizer tool, and in this text box based on GPT-3, I can type in some text and see how many tokens it evaluates to. So let's say, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dogs. So quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dogs, and you see this text has 45 characters and 9 tokens. So it has broken it down and it's giving me this very neat color-coded, way of breaking it down, which here kind of looks like each word is a token in a way. Looks like it is a token. So let's try something different. But here we have 9 tokens out of 45 characters. Let's try something different. Let's say, OpenAI generative models are not just limited to natural language. You can also generate images and transcriptions. As you see, that transcript, let me type that correctly, transcription. So you can also generate transcriptions. Now if you look at this very well, you can see that some words are actually broken down into more than one token. For example, OpenAI is broken down into 2 tokens here, which is Open and AI. Generative is broken down into 2 tokens. Models 1 token. Are not just limited to natural world, 1 token. Then the language is broken down into 2 key tokens like lang and auge. So that is how, models analyze, natural language. That's how they understand the context of natural language, and how they process natural language. And OpenAI uses those talking count to understand how you're priced. Now for a single request to the OpenAI API, your total amount of tokens is the total amount of tokens in both your prompt, that is, the request that you send, the message you send in your request, your prompt, and the response, the response you get back. So the total amount of tokens in your request and your response is the total that you'll be charged for that particular request. We'll be looking at the pricing later on, but that's the total that you're going to be charged for that particular request. Now also, one thing you need to notice is that every OpenAI model has its limit as the limit of tokens that it can take at once. That's why sometimes when you're using ChatGPT, you just see the answer cut off. It's because it's the maximum number of tokens. So if we look at, I think in the overview page, it's in the documentation. If we go to models, I've got models. There's a place where you can see their talking limits. You see GPT-4, the maximum token is 8,192 in a single request. That's the maximum tokens you can have in a single request. So you tell it to write the whole book for you or we together until 2 pages. Now you can know why it cannot complete that kind of task. So we also have different, different GPT-4 models. This one is a 32K token, meaning that in a single request, you can process up to 32,000 tokens. We also have for GPT-3, which we're going to be using in this course, The 3.5 Turbo can process 4,196 tokens in a single request. That's the maximum. Note, this is the maximum amount of tokens in the single request. Just look, your request can be less than this. You can even use maybe like 15 or let's say, 200 tokens, but don't exceed this limit. All your replies are going to be cut off. Now let's look at the pricing. I think we can find the pricing at openai.com/pricing. Let's do /pricing. Now we can see how the pricing varies from model to model. So each model has a different price. We have the language models here, and like for GPT-4, which is single context, can take 8,000 tokens. That's GPT-4. Then we have the GPT-3.2, which can take 32 tokens. For GPT-4, the base GPT-4 for 1,000 tokens, you get charged 3 cents for the prompt and 6 cents for the completion. That's for 1,000 tokens each. So for 1,000 tokens and the prompt, you get charged 3 cents. For 1,000 tokens in the completion, you get charged 6 cents. For the 32K context GPT-4, you have 6 cents for the prompt for 1,000 tokens and double of that for 1,000 tokens in the completion. For the charges, which we're going to be using in this course, the GPT 3.5 Turbo, we get charged a very low amount, which is really cool, $0.002 for 1,000 tokens in one round trip. That's the request for the response as I described earlier. So we have others, Instruct GPT. These are base models that you can train, so they also give you prices for them. Other Babbage, DaVinci, or different models also. Same embedding models that we talked about earlier that I use to analyze data, search results, stuff like that. So yeah, this is the pricing for your tokens. Like I said earlier, based on the token count, GPT, or OpenAI adds all those tokens to charge you for each request. We'll be using the GPT 3.5 Turbo in this course, so we're going to be charged $0.002 for 1,000 tokens, which is really fair. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button. Have a good day. Bye.